Next question here is from CD Oily. And the question is, how can an early retiree spend comfortably while keeping ACA modified adjusted gross income below the subsidy ceiling? That is the core question. That's the money shot, right? It really just depends on how much prep you've done beforehand or how blessed and fortunate you have been in terms of your composition of assets. Unfortunately, not all of us either knew to plan for this beforehand or had the capability to plan for it beforehand. And so sometimes we are just where we are. But if you have the means, then one of those objectives would be to do this financial evaluation like we did here and say, what is the appropriate amount of brokerage or post-tax money to save if I were giving up the tax deferral or the benefit, such that this would be a mathematically viable exercise to pursue. The higher your spending capacity, the less likely you will be to qualify for ACA subsidies unless you have substantial Roth or brokerage money or cash. Now, there's definitely a discussion about having too much cash, too much brokerage, too much conservative brokerage money, or doing things inappropriately that could affect other parts of your plan in a negative way, just to qualify for ACA subsidies. As an easy, hyperbolic, crazy example, let's just imagine someone said, more cash better because I want to qualify for ACA subsidies, and then they go and shove $300,000 into cash of their total $1 million of funds. That would probably be a bad trade for this purpose, because now you're just hindering the growth of your assets on a limited pool of assets just to qualify for subsidies that we don't actually know what the financial benefit of those would be. So I just wanted to illustrate through a hyperbolic example, like that could be a bad trade to make. The point here is just because ACA subsidies can be lucrative doesn't mean they're good in all situations and it's worth exploring. But, the best way to one, spend comfortably is to know your spending capacity against your desired spending, because ACA subsidies have nothing to do with spending comfortably. Spending comfortably is knowing whether you can afford to spend comfortably and whether your resources can support that. And then the second is, how can you spend comfortably if you would want to still qualify for ACA subsidies, knowing that your spending capacity supports this whole experience, but your asset composition may or may not be in line with that. And that's where the more detailed asset composition or asset location evaluation comes into play. That's where we want to look at how are our assets saved, what's our willingness to use potentially Roth money or post-tax brokerage money, what other things might we be giving up later as a result of using those funds now. Retirement planning is complicated. Things interplay between each other. ACA subsidies before Medicare often have tension with Roth conversions. We have to decide what's the bigger problem, the cost of health insurance before Medicare, the potential widow's tax trap, or potential RMD consequences of a large pre-tax balance after those, in a future year. So there's a lot that goes into it. Ultimately, retirement planning is it's like weaving a rug. We've got a lot of threads and they all need to kind of be in sync for this to work. So it's a great question though, CD Oily. And I wish I could give you a more direct answer, but that's the best answer I could give is framework wise and then thinking through it and running the evaluation. Real quick, let me show you the exact 3-pillar comprehensive retirement roadmap that takes retirees from uncertainty to peace of mind that less than 1% of retirees actually have in place. Now, I've built hundreds of these for retirees, and I can say with a high degree of confidence that these are the 3 pillars every retiree needs to have in place in order to have full confidence that they're not missing anything in their retirement plan. And I broke each of these down by the specific questions. You can see them here that each needs to be answered and the best way to answer them. Now, we've done this across pre-retirees, recent retirees, married couples, single retirees, $1 million portfolios, $10 million portfolios, all the above, and it works. And it's my gift to you today. It's absolutely free. It's in the first link in the description below this video. It's going to say free comprehensive retirement roadmap training. Just click the link, enter your info, and you'll get instant access all for free.